Today, we are talking about the real reason that humanity is collapsing and what it has to do with you and me and all of us, and how we need to prepare and understand what is going on in the world right now. This is a very important video. Now, we're going to get started, but as always, please make sure that you like and subscribe so that we can share this information. We're all about creating a new beginning, and we need to create this new beginning by expanding the minds of the earth, and we do that by spreading information. So please help by liking and sharing. Also, if you enjoy my work, consider supporting on Patreon. It helps out a lot. That's how I'm able to do my work. And we have members only videos. Today we're having a new members only video called From Flesh to Machine, Is AI Our Final Disembodiment? As we talk about the rise of technology and what it has to do for us in our future. So you can support on Patreon or tier 2 or higher to access all our members only videos. And also, I want to remind you, hey, there's a lot of scammers in the comments. Watch out, don't fall for it. If they say they're pretending to be me and saying to join my WhatsApp or join my Telegram, don't fall for it. That's not me. Also, there are people and groups out there who don't like what I'm doing, who don't like what we're doing. And so they are spreading a lot of misinformation and disinformation about me and our group and what we do. So keep that in mind. Don't fall for the BS. Use your logic, use your reason. All right. Here we go. Is humanity falling apart? How to deal with this? What's going on? So before we get started, I want to let you know that I'm going to be reading a few excerpts from an article called Is Humanity Falling Apart? As well as The Global Awakening is Getting More Intense, both by Knowledge Collective on medium.com. So I'm going to be reading some excerpts and quotes from their articles. And if you enjoy them, go follow them and support them on medium.com. Again, their name is Knowledge Collective. I really enjoy the articles that they write. They're probably so far one of my favorite medium.com writers. So go check them out. Go, give them a follow or however that works. So what's going on right now? Well, if we take a look, I'm going to read from one of his quotes. It says, looking around, it's easy to get pessimistic. There's political divisions, social conflicts, extremism, depression, greed, environmental destruction. The list goes on. Clearly, much is out of balance. Now, here's the thing. The Earth has always been in a state of division. It's always been in a state of, a tumultuous state, even political and social, etc. But it's really starting to ramp up right now. And it's starting to ramp up because there is a clear divide in humanity. And what we're going to see here, this collapse is because, like we've talked about before, the old ways are beginning to fall away. But the thing that's extremely important to realize right now is the driving force behind this and what we can do about this driving force, how we can understand this driving force and use it to our advantage. Because remember, we are Neogenians, and what are we here to do? We're here to create a new beginning, a new earth, a new consciousness, a new world. And so a collapse is actually a good thing because it makes a way for something new. You can't have creation before the old is deconstructed. The old has to be deconstructed for the new to be constructed. Now, this is a metaphor. We're always in a state of dialectical transformation, so it's not as clear-cut as just deconstruction and reconstruction, but using that simplistic metaphor, we can kind of understand what's going on here. Now, Knowledge Collective also says, lately, I'm sensing massive shifts in collective consciousness on our planet. And see, I wanted to read two different excerpts from two different articles because I want you to see the juxtaposition here. Okay, on one hand, there's this idea of division, collapse, conflicts, extremism, depression, greed, all these things. All these, hatred, sexism, homophobia, racism. There's so many atrocities going on in the world. And even if you look at what's going on in America, there's hardly been a time when America has been in such a state of division, at least in modern times. It's absolutely insane how much division is occurring in America and the world at large. And we're seeing a lot of that reflected everywhere. Now, like I said, but I want to show you the juxtaposition, because not only is there this destruction and chaos going on, but it's also going hand in hand with a global awakening. And so, like Knowledge Collective says, lately I'm sensing massive shifts in collective consciousness on our planet. It feels like a global spiritual awakening is accelerating a lot more as we move from late 2023 into 2024. And a lot of you can probably feel that the feeling of change and a shift ramping up and accelerating. And again, what I'm trying to point out here is not only this juxtaposition, but I want you to see a reflection between internal states and external states, because this is key to understanding why this shift is happening and what we can do about it. Because you have to understand that everything that happens internally is mirrored externally. So we can feel this shift in consciousness, this shift, this spiritual awakening, but we're also seeing division and hatred, sexism, homophobia more and more. And we can see this reflected not only that, but when we look at technology as well. Look at how technology is shifting, and technology is really accelerating with the advent of AI, and I mean not really the advent, but the increased effectiveness, really AI taking off and being truly, something that is monumentally affecting the world, as well as virtual, AI, virtual reality, which is what we're going to be talking about in our members only video about, from flesh to machine is AI, our final disembodiment. As we talk about this rise of technology, that's what we're going to be specifically talking about there. But regardless, that's not the point. The point is that you're seeing an acceleration, you're seeing shift, you're seeing division. We have to understand that everything begins in the mind. Now, Knowledge Collective continues by saying, my own awareness has transformed radically in the last 3 years, but now even bigger parts of my subconscious feel like they're opening up. Every day, reality feels different, more fluid, vibrationally intense. And I think that a lot of you watching this can relate to this. I think that probably, if you think about the last 10 years or something, there was probably, a decent amount of a shift, an awakening going on, but more of a sort of leisurely pace. Now, the last 3 years have been a sort of a pressure cooker. And now even compared to the last 3 years, things are really ramping up as well. So we're seeing this sort of exponential curve towards awakening, towards like technological growth and technological transformation, but as well as division. Now, why are we seeing like all this division? Why are we seeing all this collapse? There's many different reasons. When we look at the internal state and how that affects the external state, when we take a look at the technological state, because remember, all of this is linked together. And this is what's really important when we talk about in the Neogenian system about reaching hyper-awareness. A big part of reaching hyper-awareness is understanding concept networking, seeing how things that seem disconnected are all connected. So our inner state, spiritual awakening, the division in the world, the growth of technology, all this is intertwined and interlinked and contributing to and interacting with each other. Most importantly, though, it has to do with internal states. Internal states always precede everything. Everything always begins in the mind. Now, when we take a look at this and we can see collapses in many different ways, why are we seeing collapses in many different ways? Because the old system cannot handle the new. The old system is breaking down. You cannot put new wine in old wineskins. They will break. The old system is collapsing. The old system is breaking down because it cannot handle the new. It's not prepared for it. It doesn't know what to do with it. It doesn't know how to handle it. Like you look at, for example, like how fast and how rapid AI is taking off and transforming the world. Our old system with its bureaucracy, like, for example, if let's say, you had so many people, so many of the creators of AI saying, hey, we need to sign legislation, we need to get laws passed to try and have some sort of rules and laws and regulations about AI. But look how slow anything like that takes. Look at our bureaucracy. Look how long it takes for anything to get done. It takes forever. I remember when I used to live in an apartment a few years back, there was there was just like a crack in the road, and they were trying to get the crack in the road fixed, and there was a sign like, oh, petition our governor to get this crack fixed or something, and that was there for such a long time. And it's just a reflection of how in our bureaucratic world, in our slow moving society, it can take years to get a crack in the road in one neighborhood fixed. Meanwhile, you have technology that's taking off, and you have consciousness that's taking off as well. And so our system isn't prepared. Our system is not designed for a new consciousness. Our system is not capable to work fast enough to support this developing new technology either. Our system is and so this is why you're seeing all this collapse and division. So not only that, but our structure, our institutions, all of our world is constructed for an old consciousness as well. So you're seeing division in the world because an old consciousness is resisting the new consciousness. This is why you're seeing division in America and division in the West. People like cling to old religious ideals and conservative ideas that are limiting people's rights and limiting people's freedoms. And you have people that are progressive and free thinking and want to step into a world of inclusivity and acceptance and ethical equity for everyone, so that we can all have a chance to be who we are and actualize ourselves and live together in our harmonious world. Unfortunately, old dogmatic systems don't account for that. Now, if you want to think of a really good way to, another example, like how I said, the crack in the road, etc. Well, here's the thing: people's when our self-awareness developed, here's the important thing to understand. When our self-awareness developed, how did self-awareness develop? Self-awareness developed when we were in small groups and tribes. So self-awareness developed for the function of adaptability and survival with groups and tribes, and there's conflicts, etc. It didn't evolve in a globally connected world. And I know this might sound like, what does this have to do with anything? But it's important to understand how all of this connects, because changing the world has to do with changing ideas. Everything begins as an idea. Everything. Self-aware individuals had the idea of creating nations and states and governments and cars and iPhones. You take away the ideas, we're just animals in the jungle. Everything begins in that as an idea. The problem is humanity has old ideas. They have ideas that served them well in the past, but no longer do so. So we're in a world right now where the issue is that humanity has this consciousness that developed in this small group tribe mentality, where self-awareness developed for adaptability within that sphere. What's happening now? We are now in a world that is globally connected. Now, we're not in the state where we're connected in a way where we're cooperating. We're not cooperating as a global collective, which is what we want to do as Neogenians. We're creating a new beginning and want to establish a planetary civilization that reflects not self-awareness, but all awareness and hyper-awareness. But my point is, we even though it's not, the world isn't cooperating, we now live in a globally connected society. You open up your phone, you can be connected instantly with someone across the world. You can see what's going on in another part of the planet almost instantaneously. You can live stream whatever the hell you want. We are in a globally connected world. And because we are in this globally connected world, a new kind of consciousness is rising, which is all awareness, not just the awareness of the self within an individual within a group, but all awareness as understanding that we are all parts of a united collective. And so a new consciousness is emerging because of a new this new environment. See, when humanity was just in tribes and in small groups, all awareness did not develop because they didn't have a model of the global world. They didn't even know what the world was. They didn't know that they were on a sphere. They didn't know about anything other than what was in their small vicinity. They didn't have the model within their mind to construct a model of existence as a holism. So in our system, this is what we call the analog all. This is literally a new structure in the psyche is being developed right now. And this, in the context of small groups and tribes and self-awareness arising, the analog I was developed because the mind had the information to develop a structure of the I or the ego. Oh, I am a me. I am not you. I have my own name. Oh, you in the hierarchy are above me, and I have to do what you say. I am not you. I am I. So it has all this information that's been provided to it that allows a new structure in the psyche, the analog I, to develop, the ego. So it goes, oh, I'm an I. Okay, I'm separate, and everything that goes along with that. Now we are having data that's completely different, that's allowing us to construct a model of the earth as a whole, and really the universe as a whole. But let's get there one step at a time. It should be all reality as a whole. But at the very least, we're having information that shows humanity that we're part of a globally connected network. And so this is new information coming in. And instead of it being, you jump back to self-awareness, you had, oh, I am an I am a me, I have a name, you are above me in the hierarchy, I have to do what you say. Oh, that's right. There are different people, I am I. Now you have in today's day and age, globally connected information. Everyone is connected. You can see things happening all across the world almost instantaneously. New information. The mind goes, oh, we're all interconnected. My actions ripple across the world and affect your actions. The world is in a state where we're all in this ecosystem together when one action affects the all, the butterfly effect. We all have to work together on things to be able to progress and grow. This structure of I affect you and you affect me and we all affect each other and we affect the whole. We are part of one interconnected system where every part depends on every other part and really can only be understood in the context of the whole with relation to understanding how those parts within the whole operate. New structure in the psyche starts to develop. Now you have the analog all awareness starts to develop. And you go, and with all awareness, guess what? Oh, now with self-awareness, new realizations occur. With all awareness, new realizations occur. Realizations occur like, oh, wow, we need to be operating together as a collective. We need to be helping each other. We're all in this together. We need to be united on certain global things that are occurring. There's lots of threats to our existence, like pandemics and global cataclysms. Global warming, and especially nuclear war. We need to be cooperating together as a united people to be able to overcome these things and give each other freedoms, etc. But the problem is that all of our systems are not designed for this new consciousness. All our systems are designed for the old consciousness. They were built by the old consciousness. They were built and designed by an old consciousness. Now, some of the founders of these states, you could argue, had somewhat of an understanding of how existence is, but whether that is true or not is neither here nor there, because what it has become is not what it was intended to be. We live in a society that is dominated by the old consciousness and old systems. This selfish, greedy, capitalistic, individualistic society of dog eat dog, step on the other to get ahead. You can see how this is all developed as survival mechanisms. Self-awareness was developed, but come on, we need to evolve. And that's what's happening, is that a large portion of humanity is evolving. So you have technology evolving, which is helping consciousness evolve. Because why? Because the technology shows us that we're globally connected on our iPhones. Our iPhones, these are new organs. These are new organs, externalized organs that we have that let us see through the eyes and the mind and the ears of the collective. I can see through yours and mine and everyone else's. When I live stream, when you live stream, when you upload a photo, and this will just get more and more as technology evolves more and more. This is just going to become more prevalent. So we're having all these different perspectives, we're having all these different experiences, and new consciousness is developing in tandem with new technology, and this is breaking down the old structures. The old structures cannot handle this. They're not built for it. They're not designed for it. And then you have the resistance of old consciousness as well. People who have not developed all awareness yet. They don't understand it. They don't get it. It's weird and new and hostile to them. They don't understand. Oh, they're these weird people. Why do you have, people dressing so weird and wearing that clothes or talking about, just all these old mindsets, old ways of thinking can't understand. It's very confusing. And so what do? They get what the self-awareness is designed to see the other as a threat. Oh, it's a threat. It's different than me. It's other than me. It's a threat to me, when it's really not. It's not a threat at all. But they're not able to understand this because all awareness has not developed. Only self-awareness has developed. So we have this transitory phase right now occurring. And it's important to recognize how it's all interconnected. Now, let me read a couple more quotes here. It says, so here's the interesting thing. So this is a quote again from Knowledge Collective, who says, rising diagnoses of mental health issues indicate growing disconnection and lack of meaning. However, they also show that people are rejecting numbing and getting real about priorities. So here's interesting. Millions of people are turning inwards for inner peace over materialism. Mindfulness and therapy are entering the mainstream. A worldwide spiritual awakening is brewing, even if in the early stages. The topics spirituality and mindfulness have reached an all-time high nearly every month in the last 2 years on Google Trends. So you see this idea of spirituality is on the rise. You can even look at the data to, if you check out their article, they have a link to the data where you can see it. Here, actually, I can put it on screen if you can take a look. It's very, very small. Here, it's much bigger now, but the trends are on the rise. So the point is that even though you have diagnoses of mental health issues and this idea of lack of connection and lack of meaning, but you also, because of that, millions of people are turning inwards for inner peace over materialism. Therapy is entering the mainstream, and that's a really cool thing as well. I remember when therapy used to be there used to be a big stigma around it, and there is to some degree today still, but it was really bad a while ago. Years ago, if you had a therapist, it'd be like, what's wrong with you? Are you crazy? Like, why do you have a, but now, everyone should have a therapist. Therapists are very helpful for maintaining a healthy mental state. So, you have this idea of the mind being central to what is occurring here. The mind is central to growth, and the mind is central to the reason why that there is a collapse as well. So basically, what it comes down to is change our minds, change the world. When the mind is changed, the world changes. So even though it can seem like, it's a scary thing that we're on the brink of a global collapse, et cetera, it's actually an extremely exciting time to be alive. So this is the point that you should, even though I understand it can be kind of scary, but you should be excited because you were born at a very historical moment in history and you can be a part of it. And that's what we're doing here. As Neogenians, we are the new beginning. We are literally initiating this new shift in consciousness by spreading information. As we spread information, as I make these videos, as other Neogenians make these videos as well, as, Philip and Susan and Jan and Mark and everyone and makes videos, and Lee writes articles and all this, and everyone talks with each other and shares information. What are we doing? We are raising consciousness, we are spreading awareness, and we are initiating a new shift. Because we don't even just want humanity to reach all awareness, we want humanity to reach hyper awareness, which is a highly evolved form of all awareness, which just like there's different levels of self-awareness, in this new stage of consciousness, there are different levels as well. And we need people to reach the highest levels so that we can have a world reflective of our highest ideals. The fact is that humanity has not lived yet. No one has started living yet. As a collective, as a people, none of us have ever lived. We're all in the survival phase. Earth is in the survival phase. We're trying to transition Earth from the survival phase to the phase of planetary civilization, which is thriving. And then that's when we can finally actually start living. That's the whole thing, is this all of evolution, all of development, mentally, consciously, technologically, evolutionarily. This has all been a bitter struggle and climb to finally get to the point where we can live and enjoy and have life. And some people get that, but we need it to happen on a global scale so we can begin to build a world that reflects that. Because right now, the world is a reflection of our consciousness. The world is a reflection of collective consciousness. The world is divided because people are divided internally, and we need to free up that division internally so that people can reach a higher state of awareness. Um, so, Knowledge Collective also says it's as if humanity is moving through birth pains. The old paradigms are cracking as we sense a new era being born. That's absolutely right. Births can be painful, they can be messy, but they're worth it in the end. Something beautiful, something new is beginning. And that is what we're here to do as Neogenians. Chaotic yet purposeful contractions before a new phase of planetary existence. Great, great, very, very well said. We are being initiated into greater membership within the galactic family if we choose, but first we must consciously graduate the destructive ways of our infancy. This great turning can't be forced if it emerges organically through ordinary beings daring to answer the mystic call, vivifying their essence fully into existence. Now, this gets into another level as well, which we're not going to go into today. But ultimately, humans are very, very short-sighted. Self-awareness was developed during groups and tribes, small groups. They were just focused on what's in front of them. They weren't thinking about the world at large. They didn't even really have a concept of the world at large. Well, now humanity has a concept of the world at large, and they're beginning to understand the world at large. But see, we need to go even further than that. That's why we talk about hyper-awareness, which is a very highly evolved form of all awareness. Hyper-awareness, you don't just think about the earth. You think about the universe. You think about all reality. You think about how different domains, different dimensions interact, how the mind interacts with how the frequency domain interacts with the space-time domain. You think about all these different elements as well. It's not just about Earth, but one step at a time. We need at least humanity to begin to awaken to the first phases of all awareness by realizing that humanity is interconnected on this planetary sphere and that we form a unity and that we need to build a world that reflects this coherent unity of which we are all a part of. And I like how he says this great turn. See, this is an important point. He says this great turning can't be forced. It emerges organically through ordinary beings daring to answer the mystic call, vivifying their essence fully into existence. And this is well said. And I want to say a couple of things about here. This great turning, this new phase, he's right, or they're right. I don't know their gender. That cannot be forced, and that's absolutely right. But that doesn't mean to sit back and do nothing. It means that it can't be forced through, let's say, force. You can't go out there with guns and tanks and force the world to be in a state of a planetary civilization and a higher consciousness. You can't do that. It doesn't make sense. Humans have to actually get to a level of awareness. They're not going to understand what's going on. You can't force a planetary shift through physically forceful means. And we're very much against, violence. We're very much against violence. We're very much against anything illegal. But what we are for is a transformation of consciousness. So it doesn't mean sit back and do nothing. When you say, it can't be forced, that doesn't mean sit back and do nothing, but it means to realize that what is effective, is what he says, emerges organically through ordinary beings daring to answer the mystic call, vivifying their essence fully into existence. So it's about us transforming the world through having our essence come fully into existence by actualizing ourselves and helping others actualize, essentially. So we can't change the world by going around with tanks and grenades and no, that's not going to work. What we go around doing is spreading consciousness and spreading awareness, actualizing ourselves and helping others actualize. Because the thing is that a new planetary system flows from a new conscious naturally. It's not something that you can force. Just like when self-awareness develops, automatically new structures start to develop. Oh, right, I'm an I, you're a you. Hey, let's create this thing. Let's work on it. It flows naturally. So when humanity reaches a new awareness, a planetary civilization is obvious. Really, it's ridiculous. Like even the fact that I'm having to do these live streams and do these videos is like, it's really, humanity has had enough time to realize this. It's had thousands of years of people who have reached higher awareness trying to tell humanity that it needs to work on these things, and has given information to try and help kickstart it. But at this point, where we've had the internet and we have social media and people have seen the Earth from space and have had all these necessary conditions be provided for the advent of a new awareness, quantum mechanics is over 100 years old by now, and that's a good example. Most people haven't heard of quantum mechanics. They don't know what it is. Most people don't know what quantum mechanics is. A few New Agers use the word quantum, but most of them don't know what it is. They say, "Oh yeah, I'm a quantum healer," or I'm a quantum light worker or something. But people don't know what it means, and most of humanity doesn't know. Well, I don't know if it's most, but I would guess it probably is, because I'm always very surprised when people tell me they don't know what quantum mechanics is. And if you don't know, that's okay. It's not your fault, because you haven't been, this world doesn't give you information that you need to know. But quantum mechanics is over 100 years old now. It was discovered in the early 1900s. You can trace it back to Max Planck and his understanding of quantization of energy. Essentially, quantum mechanics shows that matter does not exist. It shows that matter does not exist, that we exist in a complex of energy. Yet people are going around with the idea of classical Newtonian physics, that, oh, everything is made up of clumps of atoms and molecules. That's what most people think. Most people think that they're going around in a solid world made up of clumps of atoms and molecules and behaving according to Newtonian physics. That model of existence is over 100 years old. Reality is based on a system of energy. And for people to be going around with over 100-year-old understanding of existence, I mean, think about how crazy that is. Imagine if you were using technology that was over 100 years old. You know, if you needed to make an appointment with someone and you're like, oh yeah, I'll get you on the telegraph or whatever. Yeah, it's you know, not only crazy, but kind of frightening when you think about it. And not only that, but you have people who adhere to old archaic religions that are thousands of years old. Now imagine using technology that was thousands of years old. That's crazy. So to have a new world, we need to update consciousness. Consciousness needs an update. It needs an upgrade. Its operating system is obsolete. It hasn't had an update in a few hundred years, and it's not able. That's how you can think of it. Consciousness and the world at large is running on an old iOS, an old operating system. We have a new app developing, All Awareness, and their operating system is not updated yet enough to be able to handle it. What we need to go out there and do is give updates. We need to be like, hey, thought you'd like to know, you could use an update. There's been some patches and bug fixes you probably don't know about, and it would solve all the dying and hate and killing that we have going on. Those are some pretty big bugs that got in the system. We need to do some updates. There's been some new developments. We've discovered some new things. So that's essentially what's going on. So when we look at this world collapsing around us, we need to realize that it's scary and it's painful. Just like a birth can be scary and painful, but it's in preparation for something new. And we need to sort of keep our eyes on the prize and realize that we are powerful elements in this force of change. This force of change is us. It's me, it's you, it's all of us as Neogenians. It's everyone who is putting in the effort to raise consciousness and to be a part of the new beginning. So that's what we want to do. Always remember, always remember, it begins in the mind. Always. People always overlook this. I say it so much, but people always overlook it. It all begins in the mind. We have to transform consciousness before we can transform the world. So I hope that made sense, my friends. And I have a lot more videos. Check them out on my channel. And as I said, hey, if you enjoy my work, consider supporting on Patreon. We're going to have a members only video right now where we're talking about From Flesh to Machine, Is AI Our Final Disembodiment, where we're going to talk more about technology. We're going to talk more about how that's affecting us in our world. So you can get access to that by supporting on Patreon at any tier, or tier 2 or higher on YouTube. And as always, remember, don't feel obligated to support monetarily. You don't have to. I never want anyone to feel obligated to. Only do so if you feel good about it. There are plenty of free ways you can support, like liking and sharing and subscribing. But if you would like to support, the link is right here, or you can, there, I'm all mirrored, or tier 2 or higher on YouTube. Thank you to everyone who does support, especially Renaissance Fairy, Cassidy, Angela, the Halloween Mom, DB, Enki, Nuselina, Paul Rogers III, Eric Fire, Masam, Ryan, Christopher Smith, and everyone else. Thank you very much.